Yo, book nerds! Today's video has honestly been a long time coming and I realized that. So I finally finished reading The Mysterious Stranger and Other Stories by Mark Twain, which is a collection of 4 short stories by him. This took me way too long to read because it is so short, but I have a few reasons why that it took me so long. I have been extremely busy with school. I have a writing class that actually has a lot of reading that goes with it, which I didn't expect from a writing class, I'll be honest. I expected some reading, but not as much as I have. So that takes up a lot of my time. I also found out that I am pregnant. Taylor and I are very, very excited. I am due in March. And so the pregnancy has been keeping me busy because I have had some very, very bad morning sickness. I'm in my 4th month. So yeah, almost to the halfway point. It's crazy. It's going so fast. So those are the reasons why I have not been able to read as much as I want to. But getting back to Mark Twain's 4 short stories, this was very enjoyable. It was a nice little palate cleanser, and with being so busy, it was very nice to just have some short stories that I could take in chunks, and I didn't need to remember from one sit to the next what was happening with the plot because I was starting a new story each time. I really did enjoy these short stories. I don't read short stories a ton. I prefer longer novels or even novellas over short stories just because you can't develop the same kind of emotions in a short story as you can typically in a novel. The first 3 stories were cute. They were pretty short, all of them pretty short. They were cute, silly stories, and while I did enjoy reading them, they aren't really ones that will stick with me a ton, but I did enjoy reading them. The first story was called The Notorious Jumping Frog from Calaveras County, and it was about this man that had trained a frog to jump extremely far, and he would bet money with people that his frog could jump farther than any other frog that they could find. And it was cute and it was entertaining and it was extremely short. It was only like 5 pages. The second short story was called The 1,000,000 Banknote. This story was only like 15 pages, so again, really short. And this was about these 2 rich men that wanted to make a bet with each other. So one brother thought that if he gave a £1,000,000 note to a poor man, that he would somehow get himself arrested and end up in jail and not be able to use the money. The other brother had bet the opposite and said that if they gave the £1,000,000 note to somebody, then they would be just fine. They would live a perfectly great life. And so what they did was they found this man that was down on his luck and they gave him this money, and they didn't tell him about their bet. And they just said, here's some money. We'll meet up with you in a month. And I won't tell you what happens, but it is very cute and silly and entertaining. And the ending is just one of those like feel-good endings. The third story was called The Man That Corrupted Hadley Berg. This one was about 35 pages, I think, so getting a little bit longer. This story was definitely more layered than the first 2. It was about this town, Hadleyburg, that was like incorruptible. They prided themselves on their morals and how they were honest, good people, and that was the whole town. They were supposedly better than any other town. And this man didn't like the town and wanted to corrupt them and show them that they aren't better than any other town, and show them that they're just as greedy and just as conniving and just as slimy as any other town, just as any other person on the planet. And so this story was definitely way more interesting than the first 2. The 4th story is called The Mysterious Stranger, and that one was the longest. That was a little over 60 pages, I think. And that is the title of this collection, The Mysterious Stranger. And this story is definitely one that is going to stick with me. That was the story that made me think the most. It had the most depth to it, and I honestly couldn't put it down. It was kind of creepy, which is perfect for October, and I didn't expect that. And it was very intriguing and really made me think. So The Mysterious Stranger is about this group of 3 boys. The main character is one of the 3 boys. His name is Theodore. And they're all hanging out one day, and all of a sudden this young man walks up to them, this youth that's a little bit older than them. And he kind of sits down with them, and they can tell there's something weird about this man. They don't really know what. And so eventually they figure out that he's an angel. And they think that's really cool. They ask him to do things to prove he's an angel, and he does these little miracles for them and entertains them. And then they ask him what his name is, and he says his name is Satan. And it is a very, very intriguing story. Now, Satan says that he's not the devil. He says that he is just named Satan after his uncle, who is the devil. And now it is very, very interesting because you don't really know if you should believe him, because the devil cannot be trusted. Satan cannot be trusted. So if he really is the devil, it's very, very easy to believe that he's just lying to these boys and telling him that he's not the real devil. Or maybe he is telling the truth and he isn't the devil and he's just another angel named Satan. And so it just puts this really dark spin on the story. And from then on, you can't really trust what he does. And he is mischievous. He plays with the lives of people around these boys, and these boys can't do anything about it. Satan makes it so that they can't talk about him. They can't interfere with what he's doing. And so they're kind of helpless to watch as he becomes like a puppet master with all these people around them. It is just very interesting. And the ending was kind of weird, but I have my own theory on it. So if you don't want any spoilers, then just skip ahead. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the ending right now because I just have to. So skip ahead if you don't want any spoilers. As Satan is playing with the lives of other people in this community, he ends up killing a couple of them and making some of them go insane. And these boys are helpless to watch. And Theodore is like, you don't know how to help people. You don't know what you're doing. You're ruining people's lives. You don't know how to make people happy. And at the end of the book, Satan comes to Theodore and says, you're not going to see me anymore. I'm going away. This is the last time we'll ever meet. And Theodore asks him, well, we'll meet again someday, won't we? Meaning in heaven. And Satan tells him, there is no heaven, there is no world. None of this is real. You're not real. I'm not real. All of this is a dream. You're just a thought. And Theodore believes him. And so it's a really weird ending. And my theory is that Satan made Theodore go insane, like he made other people go insane. And it's just a very, very intriguing short story. And it's definitely one that I am going to think about for a while. So those are the 4 short stories in this collection. I really did enjoy them. I am so sorry it took me this long to read through them and get back to you guys on it, but life happens. And so yeah, I definitely recommend checking out these short stories if you'd like to get some more Mark Twain in your life, but you don't want to read the traditional stories that everybody reads, but definitely check them out. If you've read this, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be very happy to chat with you about it. I have decided what I'm going to read next. I haven't really started it yet. I just read the prologue so far, but I have decided to pick up Carmilla by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. This story was written in the 1800s. It came out before Dracula, and was part of the inspiration for Dracula. It is a vampire story. I am very excited to read this for spooky season, and I can't wait to dive in. It's very short, so I don't think it will take me too long, but I didn't think the last book would take me that long either, so we'll have to just wait and see. It might take me longer than October to read it. I can't help it right now. Yeah, that's really all I know about this, though, is that this is a vampire story that came out before Dracula. And I always kind of thought Dracula was the first vampire story, so I'm interested to read this and see what it's like. If you've read this, let me know if you liked it or not in the comments. This book took me forever to find, though. I don't like ordering books online unless I really have to. I really enjoy finding them in bookstores, and I went to 3 different bookstores, and all of them said that they had it, but they couldn't find it when we tried to go look for it on the shelves. Their database said they had it, we couldn't find it anywhere. We'd look in horror, we would look in the fiction, we'd look in literature, in classics. We'd look all over, we'd never find it. And I think the problem was because of the author's name. We'd look under S for Sheridan, we'd look under L for Le Fanu, we'd look under F for Fanu. It took us forever to find it, but in the 3rd bookstore I went to, we finally found it, and I don't even remember where exactly it was. I think it was in the literature. It might have been under the L. I don't remember, but it took forever to find it, and I was so happy once I finally did find it. And I think this cover is really cool. It's got bats on it, and it's just very, very intriguing. That's all for me this week. Let me know what you guys are reading for October, for spooky season, or if you're participating in Victober, which is something else that goes on during October. There's a bunch of people that like to read Victorian literature in the month of October. If you're participating in that, let me know what you're reading for that. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Monday. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for talking books with me.